Okay, so have you ever, like, seen a severe weather forecast and you're kind of like,
Mm-hmm.
what does this even mean?
Right.
Like, am I really in danger? Or is this just like a windy day? You know what I mean?
Absolutely. It can be confusing.
It can be. So today we're going to take a deep dive into severe thunderstorm warnings
Yeah.
and the Storm Prediction Center.
The SPC.
Yes, the SPC. Thank you. We're going to really try to like break down how these two things work together to keep us safe.
Yes.
Because like when there's severe weather, that can be like really scary.
Absolutely. Life-threatening stuff.
Yes. So we're going to figure out like how this system actually works.
Yeah. So think about it this way. The SPC is kind of like the strategic command,
Okay.
looking at the big picture, identifying potential problems, days in advance.
Okay.
But then you've got your local NWS office. They're like the tactical unit on the ground.
Okay.
They're the ones issuing those immediate orders when the threat is like right there.
Right. So they're the ones that are like warning, warning.
Yeah, exactly. You get that severe thunderstorm warning on your phone.
Right.
That's them. But the SPC is working behind the scenes days ahead of time.
Interesting. Okay. So let's talk about that severe thunderstorm warning.
Okay.
What does that even mean? Like, what are the conditions that have to be met to issue a severe thunderstorm warning?
Yeah, so it's not just any old thunderstorm.
Right.
The National Weather Service has some very specific criteria.
Okay.
You have to have hail at least an inch in diameter.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's about the size of a quarter.
That's big.
It is. You also need winds of 58 miles per hour or greater.
Wow.
Or, of course, a tornado.
Right.
And, we can't forget about the heavy rain that comes with these storms.
Yeah, that can cause some serious problems.
Absolutely. Flash flooding is a huge danger.
So it sounds like they don't just issue these warnings lightly.
No, these warnings mean business.
Right. So when you do see one of these warnings pop up on your phone or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
what kind of information should you be looking for?
Yeah, so these warnings are very geographically specific. They'll tell you exactly which areas are at risk and for how long.
Okay.
They'll also tell you the specific hazards you can expect.
Like what?
Like, they might say a quarter-sized hail possible or 60-mile-per-hour winds expected.
Okay.
And they'll always mention the potential for flash flooding, too.
Gotcha. So they give you a really good breakdown.
Exactly. Because they want you to understand the urgency.
Right. This isn't just like a suggestion.
No, this is like take action now, find shelter.
Right. Get away from the windows.
Exactly.
Okay. So obviously there's a lot of technology that goes into issuing these warnings.
Oh, yes.
It's not just some guy looking out the window anymore.
No way, Doppler radar is the real MVP here.
Okay. I've heard of Doppler radar, but I don't really know how it works.
Yeah, so basically it sends out radio waves and then measures how those waves change when they bounce back off of precipitation.
Okay.
And that tells us if the precipitation is moving towards or away from the radar.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we can actually see the winds inside the storm.
That's incredible.
It is. We can see the structure of the storm and even spot rotation that might indicate a tornado.
So that's how they know where the tornadoes are going to be.
It's a big part of it. But it's not just the radar.
Right.
We also have these automated systems that are constantly processing all this data.
Okay.
And then we have trained weather spotters on the ground.
Oh, yeah. Those are the folks that like go out and chase the storms.
Some of them do, but even the ones that don't chase, they provide these real-time reports from their location.
That's really helpful.
It is. It helps to validate what the radar is showing us.
So it's a whole team effort.
It really is.
That's pretty impressive.
Okay.
Okay, so we've talked about the warnings and the local NWS offices,
Right.
but now let's zoom out and talk about the Storm Prediction Center.
The SPC.
Yes. What is their role in all of this?
So as we said before, they're a part of the National Weather Service.
Right.
But they're focused on the bigger picture.
Okay.
They're the ones who issue severe thunderstorm and tornado watches for the entire country. Yeah, watches, not warnings. That's the key difference.
Gotcha.
So they're basically letting everyone know where and when severe weather might be possible.
So they're kind of like giving us a heads up.
Exactly. And they can do this days in advance.
Days.
Yeah. They issue these severe weather outlooks every day.
Okay.
And they even have outlooks that go out several days into the future.
Wow. So they're looking at the whole country like way ahead of time.
That's right.
And how do they know where the severe weather is going to be?
Well, they use all sorts of data and tools. They have these sophisticated computer models that are constantly running simulations of the atmosphere.
Wow.
They also get data from satellites, which give them a bird's eye view of what's happening.
That's amazing.
It is. And they use radar data too, but they're looking at it on a much broader scale than the local offices.
Okay.
But honestly, the most important factor is the expertise of the meteorologists at the SPC.
Right.
These are the people who are analyzing all this information and interpreting the model output.
So they're the ones who are making the calls.
Exactly. They're the experts.
Okay. So we've got the SBC looking at the big picture and issuing watches.
Right.
And then we've got the local NWS offices issuing warnings based on more real-time data.
Exactly.
So how do these two entities actually work together when severe weather is happening?
Yeah. It's a really cool collaboration.
Okay.
So the SBC provides that broad context with their outlooks and watches.
Right.
And that basically puts the local offices on high alert.
Gotcha.
And then as storms start to develop or get stronger, the local offices are watching their radar and getting reports from their spotters.
Okay.
And they use all that information to decide when and where to issue those very specific warnings.
So it's not like they're working in isolation.
Not at all. There's this constant back and forth.
Give me an example.
Okay. Large area.
Okay.
And then one of the local offices start to see a storm developing within that watch area.
Okay.
They're going to be watching that storm very closely.
Yep.
And they'll be in communication with the SPC,
Okay.
sharing information about what they're seeing.
So the SBC is getting real-time updates from the ground.
Exactly. And that helps them to refine their forecasts.
Gotcha. And then what happens?
Well, as that storm gets stronger and starts to show signs of becoming severe,
Like what kind of signs?
like maybe the radar is showing strong rotation or the spotters are reporting large hail,
Okay.
then that local office is going to issue a warning for their specific area.
And that's when I get the alert on my phone.
Exactly.
Wow. So it's really like a whole system working together.
It really is. And it's all about getting that information to the public as quickly and accurately as possible.
Right. Because that's what keeps us safe.
Exactly.
So earlier you mentioned public awareness.
Yes.
What role does that play in all of this?
It's huge. Honestly, even the best forecast and the fastest warning are useless if people don't understand them.
Right.
So both the SPC and the local NWS offices are always trying to educate the public about things like the difference between a watch and a warning,
Right.
and more importantly, what to do when you get one.
Like where to go.
Exactly. If you have a plan in place when you get a watch,
Right.
and then, take shelter immediately when you get a warning,
Right.
that can save your life.
That makes sense. Okay. So we've talked about all this amazing technology and expertise,
Yeah.
but we still hear about the challenges in predicting severe weather.
Oh, absolutely.
Like it seems like we still can't always predict exactly where a tornado is going to touch down.
Right. That's one of the biggest challenges in meteorology.
Why is that so hard?
Well, tornadoes form on such a small scale.
Oh, okay.
It's all about these tiny little variations in the atmosphere within a thunderstorm.
Gotcha.
And even with all our technology, it's still really hard to observe and model those variations accurately.
So it's like trying to predict where a leaf is going to fall.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very chaotic.
Wow. What about flash flooding? Is that hard to predict too?
It can be, especially in urban areas.
Why is that?
Well, you need a really accurate rainfall forecast.
Right.
But you also need to know about things like the drainage system in the area
Okay.
and how saturated the ground already is.
Oh, right. Because if it's already soaked?
Exactly. It doesn't take much rain to cause a flood.
So even with all our advances, it's still not an exact science?
Nope. But we're getting better all the time.
How so?
Well, the technology is constantly improving.
Okay.
We have better radar now that can see inside storms in even more detail.
Wow.
And the computer models are getting more and more sophisticated.
That's good.
It is. And the way we communicate with the public is getting better too.
In what way?
We're trying to make the warnings more clear and concise.
Okay.
And we're doing a better job of explaining the science behind them.
So people can understand what's really going on.
Exactly.
This has been so interesting.
Yeah, it's fascinating stuff.
It is. It really makes you appreciate all the work that goes into keeping us safe from severe weather.
Absolutely. There are so many people working behind the scenes, at the SPC and at all the local NWS offices.
Yes.
Because they're all dedicated to understanding and predicting these storms.
And keeping us informed.
Exactly.
So after learning all about this, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Knowing that we can't always predict severe weather perfectly,
Right.
what do you think is the most important thing people can do to stay safe?
That's a great question. I think the most important thing is to be prepared.
How?
Well, first of all, you need to know your risk.
Yeah.
You know where you live and what kind of severe weather is common in your area.
Right.
And then you need to have a plan. And, like, where will you go if a tornado warning is issued?
Okay.
Do you have a safe room or a basement?
Right.
And what about supplies? Do you have a weather radio?
Okay.
A flashlight? extra batteries.
Gotcha.
These are all things you should think about ahead of time.
That makes sense.
Because when a warning is issued, you don't want to be scrambling.
Right. You need to be ready to act.
Exactly.
This has been incredibly insightful. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us today.
It was my pleasure.
And for all of you listening out there, stay safe and stay informed.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Today is your lucky day. Today is the day that our $3 website works for you, paying you directly to your PayPal daily. Imagine $3 ongoing continuous payments to your PayPal account. Imagine falling asleep and waking up to $300 in your PayPal account. How would this make you feel? How could this help you? What bills could you pay? What kind of fun could you have? What does that retirement look like now? All for a one-time payment of $3. This website is DFY done for you, fully built and completely hosted, and never stops collecting payments for you. You have spent $3 on coffee on a regular, but that coffee won't help you create multiple streams of income. Click the link below.